Good day, everyone. Good day, everyone. This is Sandeep Pranavre from Melbourne, Australia. I hope you are doing well. Welcome to Agility Academy's weekly knowledge sharing sessions. So, topic for today is change management strategies for agile leaders. A bit around me, I'm a senior agile coach as well as founding director of Agility Academy. I have got heaps of experience working with agile teams as well as leading, coaching, and mentoring senior leaders in the agile environment. In today's topic, what we are going to cover is what is change, why people resist change, how agile leaders can support change, and what are different strategies on which you can rely on for effective change management. And when it comes to ensuring that whatever change you bring in, it sticks around, even if certain people move on. What are those things which are offered by Enterprise Agility Foundation, which is from Enterprise Agility University, and what's next? What are different learning opportunities, and how you can embark on this journey and ensure that everyone feels supported throughout the change? This is a LinkedIn live session, so if you have got any questions, I will suggest you to drop a comment, write your name and location, just say hi. I would love to know who is looking into this live session. And if you have got any questions, feel free to post those questions in comment section. In case if we are not able to cover those in today's session, I'll be more than happy to get in touch with you and answer those offline. Cool. All right. So let's dig in. So what is change? Change can be different thing for different people. So if we go back to the roots and find out what is the meaning of change in dictionary, you'll find that change is a verb. Okay, it's not a noun, so it's something which is in action, which is in motion. And when we talk about change, it might sound like something different to different people based on their perception, their situation. But one thing is for sure, when we talk about change, change is nothing but doing something different, changing or altering, modifying the current ways of working. Sometimes those ways of working or those changes might be perceived as a good. Sometimes those might be perceived as a challenging. And always there's a hope that with this change, whatever is setting stone, whatever is happening as of now as a status quo is going to be modified. So after understanding what is change, main question which comes to our mind is why people resist change, why it becomes so difficult. And over a period of times, Agile Manifesto was written 20 years back, and still people are talking about those four Agile values, 12 principles, and trying to deliver better outcome in ever-changing world. But still, after spending several $1 million, after spending a lot of years, uh, many Agile transformations fail. And why does it happen? Because everyone focuses on frameworks, everyone focuses on processes and tools without understanding this human angle. As a human being, we need to understand what goes in people's mind, what goes in brain. Psychologically, what are the reasons because of people resist change? And there are several reasons. As you can see, there might be reason. One of the main reason might be, you don't know what's there in for me, why I should change. Probably you might be, certain, you might feel like that change is not going to bring in what currently I have. And it might not be positive change. Sometimes it might be something to do with, someone coming and trying to question your authority, your influence. And that might be the reason why you push or resist change. In other cases, it might be sheer lack of understanding. We don't know why someone is coming and saying that we need to change the way we are working since last 10 years, 20 years, since we have been in the industry. And what are the reasons? What are those benefits? What are those reasons because of which we should change? Sometimes it might be something to do with the lack of trust. So just imagine, you're working, you're delivering, you got promoted by following certain ways of working, and all of a sudden someone come as a consultant or someone come as an external, company representative and says that, hey, you need to stop doing the way you are doing things now. And if you just jump the gun and try to introduce change by force, by not setting clear direction, by not sharing rational reason behind it, there will be pushback because people will not feel having trust to go and embark on that journey. Sometimes it might happen that people are talking or someone is talking on the ground that we need to change the way we work from X to Y. However, when you look at your senior executives, when you look at your senior managers, leaders, they might be still behaving, following old ways of working. And that's when you start questioning, okay, I am told to do something differently, but why those rules are not applied to my senior managers or my leaders or executives? And that's when sometimes people feel caught up into these two worlds, old ways of working, new ways of working, and they find that there are so many disruptions happening, which are actually not benefiting anyone. So why should I change? Probably I might just wait and watch and understand how that change is going to turn into, and then I might embark on that journey. So there will be people who will be just sitting on the fence waiting for these things to span out and become clear before committing themselves. In other cases, it might be threat to someone's values, ideas. So traditionally, if you are used to give orders and then someone is used to take orders without putting too much thought in place, you might think that, oh, this looks like a different ways of doing things, and that's not aligned with what I'm used to do. So I'm not sure why should I embark on it. So there might be several reasons because of which people might be resisting change, and that's why it's quite important that you first of all get it clarified from the people's point of view, from the employee and team members who are getting impacted from the change, why this change and what this change is going to bring in. Now, another question which arises that, let's say that, okay, we have a clarity now. You have been told as agile leader, you might be playing role of a people manager. You might be playing role of a agile consultant, scrum master, agile coach, technology manager, engineering manager, and there is some push from the top, or probably there is something happening around you as a result of everyone is supposed to change their current ways of working. Now, how are you going to support them in this change journey? Not quite often everyone put a lot of focus on change management, and that's where things fall through the crack. Now, as an agile leader, first and foremost thing which you need to do to ensure that people are comfortable with this change is share, and probably share more often than required, why you need to change or what this change is all about. So, what is the cause of this change? Is it because competitors are doing something differently? Is it because our company want to deliver things faster? Is it because current ways of working are not serving anyone purpose? Is it because people are quite often overburdened? They need to work extra hours. They feel a lot of pressure because they are pulled in different direction due to conflicting priorities. So why this change is in place first place? So you might want to start with that. Sometimes you might want to come up with a vision statement, purposeful statement, and then put it across everyone within a team as a sales speech, and saying that, okay, we are here, we want to go here, and this is what we can expect, and why. What are the reasons why we need to change? Many times, if you try to anchor those conversations to tangible business benefits or people benefits or customer benefits, it resonates with people or team members. So don't rush into just saying that let's follow this process or let's follow this agile framework and embark on the journey. Second thing, how. So sometimes having only clarity about what needs to be done is not enough. You need to understand what are those tangible steps, what are those specific actions which we need to take in order to realize that why or purpose. Uh, Only then people will and there might be several cases wherein someone might be clear about why we need to change, but as a leader sometimes you want to wear hat of that mentor, and rather than just telling them what to do or why we need to do, you want to handhold and spoon feed, or sometimes you want to teach them how things are supposed to be done in these new ways of working. Another one which needs to be kept in mind is that what are those results we are after? So how we are going to measure whether this change is making any impact? How are we going to understand that we are getting those results which we are after, those benefits which we are after? So it is quite important to understand and clarify and share with your team, program, group, or organization what do you do, and what results we are after. uh, Rather than following traditional approach where you have a long cycle and then you inform about results after 6 months or 1 year. uh, I reckon what works most is having those short time boxes or short cycles. So probably every month you can talk about, okay, we have started experimenting with certain things and this is what we have got so far. So have that experimental approach. uh, One thing which I have seen working on the ground while working with leadership team as well as senior stakeholders is that when you anchor your changes by using language of experiment and saying that, okay, we don't know what we don't know, this is our intent, this is our purpose. Let's experiment with these new ways of working. Let's run this couple of things, couple of new ideas over this new couple of fortnights or two weeks or month or so, and then reflect back and find out whether this is working, this is making any impact or not. That way people become quite open to change compared to stance which you might take saying that, hey, this is way forward and we know answer to all questions, so let's embark on this new journey. Quick reminder, if you are watching this live on LinkedIn, I will highly recommend to put your comments. If not, just say hi so that I will know you are watching it. Hi Ade, thanks for joining this live session. I reckon you are joining from UK and it's a bit early for you, so appreciate that. Uh, so let's carry on this conversation. Now, when we talk about change management strategies, one size never fits all. So all those efforts which are made saying that, hey, everyone want to follow one particular ways of working, or we have got this training program, we'll enroll everyone in that training program and then people will come out of it totally clear with regard to expectations and common understanding. In reality, and this is something which is inspired from Enterprise Agility University, uh, in reality, you need to have different change management or communication strategies based on where your team members are. So not everyone will be at the same stage of this pyramid. Someone might be at the bottom, someone might be at the top. Essentially, as a agile leader, as a change agent, agile coach, agile consultant, scrum master, or people leader, your role or your strategy here is to take them on board from where they are. So you need to go and meet them at whatever stage they are in this change journey, in this particular experience. uh, if people are at the bottom of this pyramid, they don't care. Probably these people might be scared, these people might be threatened by whatever change is going to do at the end of its rollout. They might feel like their job might be threatened, they might feel like their power might be taken away, and there'll be something else which will happen, and that's not in favor of their current position. In such cases, the approach which you want to take is inside approach. What do I mean by inside approach? You might want to spend some time one-on-one with them, might want to take them over for coffee or lunch, build rapport. Don't just jump the gun and start away, um, start talking about, oh, we need to take these steps or these are the reasons we need to change. Build that rapport, understand from their point of view what exactly of what is their viewpoint and what are those concerns and why they are resisting this change. Only then you'll be able to connect, only then you'll be able to see world from their from their eye. Hi Bandy, I reckon you have joined just now. Thanks for joining. Feel free to pop up question if you have got any. uh, yeah, so what I was saying, that quite often you need to build those relationships, build rapport, talk with them, invest some time to understand from where they are coming before you go and say that you want to change this way. Once you have built rapport, understand what are their pain points, what are their concerns. Next thing to do is they will be moved to the next stage, which is, I don't like the proposal. So they might, so far they were not listening to what you're saying. So far their mind, their heart, their eyes, ears, everything is closed. Okay, so they were not listening to you at all. After building that rapport, sharing some time with them, understanding from where they are coming, they might reach the next stage when they might say that, hey, Tony, what you are saying, I get it, but probably I don't agree with that. Now, that is next level. At least you have got some connection there when communication is happening, conversation is happening. Now you can start talking about, okay, what proposed changes you don't like, and then try to understand, shift focus towards the problems, shift focus towards the opportunities, pain points which are faced by that individual or team, and then try to connect gaps between what is the proposed change and what's happening on the ground. Next level is where, once they understand what you are trying to achieve through the change, is when they will say that I don't understand why the change is happening. So question might be about the timing of the change. Question might be why my team has been picked up. Question might be why my program, my portfolio has been asked to go through this change. And that's where you might want to look outside, might want to provide some insight, saying that, hey, looks like our competitor is delivering things faster. Looks like anything which needs to be done within this particular program or team, quite often people struggle to get those impediments, blockers removed, because there's not alignment, there's no transparency, collaboration is lacking, or they might be oversubscribed and pulled in different direction due to conflicting priorities. Once you clarify why this change is happening and what are those drivers, levers, uh, next stage, which is ideal stage, is where they might say that, hey, I get it, why we want to change, why this change is happening, what is the proposed change, but I don't understand why we must change and how we want to change. Now, at this stage, you need to clearly roll out and tell them, okay, these are the 10 experiments, this is where we are, this is where we want to be, these are the key metrics, target states, which are, these are the success criteria, and this is the roadmap. And probably you can again use that experimental language, saying that, okay, let's do this for this particular month, and at the end of month we can come together as a team, as a leadership group, and reflect back and find out, okay, whether this is delivering any outcome, is it worth persevering, or do we want to pivot and experiment a bit, tweak that experiment and do something else, or do you want to stop it and start exploring something else. Now you have got those individuals, team members who are aligned with your change strategy. Now they are with you, and they will be like, I want to change, I want to change the world for the better, to be a better place. And that's where you get a lot of traction and success. Before we move on, let me know if you have got any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer those questions right away. If not, we will feel free to pop up those questions, and I'll get back to them offline. Meantime, I can see that a few people are listening to this live stream. So let's move on. Now, once we do this, question is that what are different things which you might want to explore in order to ensure that this change sticks. So Enterprise Agility University has come up with this Enterprise Agility Foundation course, which talks about several angles, several things which someone want to explore. It might be at the team level, at a program portfolio level, or perhaps at an organizational level. Uh, Typically, many organizations, or so far, many agile business agility approaches focuses on classic agility mindset, wherein you just embed things which are there in agile manifesto and focus on how to develop software or solution by leveraging those four values and 12 principles. Enterprise Agility Foundations focuses more than goes beyond that. It says that yes, definitely you need to have technical agility, but if you want to ensure that your organization, your team is leading in this exponential market, you need more than that. Probably you need to look at the way current organizational structure is in place, and what can be done so that you will minimize impact on the health of organizations and people. How you can create those structures, procedures in a such a way that team members and programs can deal with ever-changing requirements, deal with new challenges which are put in the marketplace. So what are those new ways to structure an organization, team, program, or portfolio? Next one is outcome agility. So when we talk about any for-profit or non-profit organization, it's always driven by, okay, are we able to deliver whatever strategic outcomes we want to achieve? And it becomes quite difficult to do that when you have got hierarchical structure, last industrial era management practices. So how you can respond quickly to this changing market condition is something which is covered in outcome agility. Last two are quite important. Social agility. Again, we you might have heard about pair programming or pairing across the board. Social agility talks about if you want to make systematic changes, apart from looking at technical aspects, structural aspects, outcome aspect, what are those human connections? What are those social aspects you need to consider? So how you can ensure that existing environment, the way current workplace is set up, is supportive for people to connect with each other as well as with the customer to deliver higher performance. So it talks about social density and various new social science theories. And last one is all about mental agility. And one of the change management strategy which I have shown earlier, that is coming from this mental agility, where you are looking at where that person is in the pyramid of the change journey, and then come up with a different communication strategy. So mental agility, I would say that probably is a foundation wherein you do try to invest your time and understand what is the neuroscience, what is the psychology behind all those changes, and how you can leverage that to build a fast, resilient, flexible, individuals who can reframe, who can mentally be prepared to tackle all those changes in an environment wherein there is a lot of stress. So Enterprise Agility Foundation looks at all those five levels of agilities, and that helps you to ensure that change, whatever change you are embarking on, sticks. Now let's look at quickly, what are different learning opportunities. So there are, I love to read books, and that's why you might have seen that in most of my presentations or talks, I have always referred to books. So if you want to dig deeper, I will say that there are three books which I'll recommend. First one is Leading Exponential Change by Eric Bula. Uh, I reckon this is one of those, very, very few books wherein things have been looked at beyond typical traditional Agile and Scrum, and quite a lot focus is put on the uh, organizational health, neuroscience, psychology behind change. So I'll highly recommend reading this book. If you enroll for enterprise agility courses, definitely you have got access to its soft version for free. Uh, so the enterprise agility foundation model, which you have seen earlier, and the change management strategies are from this particular book from Eric. Second one is Switch: How to Change Things When Change is Hard. This book is a bit different. I will say that if you want to embark on journey at a personal level as well, you might want to find out or read this book. It will be a good supplement to Leading Exponential Change book. You This book focuses on three things. First one, direct the rider. So whenever you want to ensure any change happens, you need to give clear direction with regard to what you are supposed to do. And I reckon that's what we covered earlier. Second thing is motivate the elephant. So find that emotional connect. Find emotional connect with people so that they feel motivated to take action. And third one is shape the path. So you want to ensure as an agile leader, whenever you have given clear direction, you have motivated your knowledge workers, team members, you need to get your skin in the game. It's not that change is only for your teams and nothing is there for you, or you don't play any role. Third aspect of this particular approach is that shape the path. So you what as an agile leader, what you need to do, you need to be present, help team members whenever there are obstacles. So reduce obstacles, impediments, show different behavior, and tweak environment. Change environment which is supportive for this change. And last book which is mentioned here is a famous book by John Cotter, which is about leading change. So in this book, John has come up with 8 steps of leading change. It starts with creating sense of urgency, then creating guiding coalition, creating vision, sharing it, creating short wins, so on and so forth, till the stage you go and embed those changes as a culture. So these are the three books. I will say, you can start any of those big books. My personal favorite is Leading Exponential Change, as well as Switch. Now, I know not everyone has got time and energy and effort to put in to read books. So if you want to go and look into things which are beyond Agile or Scrum and any traditional frameworks, you might want to consider investing your couple of days time in Enterprise Agility Foundation course. So Enterprise Agility Foundation course is focused purely on the change management, and this course is targeting senior scrum masters, senior agile coaches, technology managers, people managers, PMO, group, portfolio managers, anyone who need to master this change management tactic. And this course looks at different aspects. So a few things which we have covered, I have just introduced is communication strategies. What different strategies you need to have? What is the change journey pyramid? As a change consultant or a people leader or change agent, what tactics you can employ in terms of mental agility, how you can ensure that micro habits are put in place so that you get required changes on ongoing basis, and how you can ensure that whatever changes you are putting in are sustained. So towards the end of this course, as an outcome, you will be creating your own enterprise agility radar, and that should be help you to quantify at what stage your program, your team, your organization is when it comes to enterprise agility. So I'll highly recommend this course if you want to dig deeper and gain expertise in this change management and enterprise agility space. So let me take a pause here and quickly check if there are any questions. If you have got questions, just let me know. Uh, and this is since this is a LinkedIn live session, it will be there for several days on LinkedIn, and we'll be uploading this video on Agility Academy's YouTube channel as well. If you're keen to do explore this further, there are a couple of opportunity. One is actually over this coming weekend, Saturday, Sunday, 27th and 28th November. Feel free to reach out to me. You can find my details here, or you can just scan this QR code. Feel free to reach out to me, or do registration for this course wherein we'll be exploring different things. uh, Another thing is that if you can't make it this November, just after Christmas break in Jan, we have got another course running. So that's all what I have got for you for today. So thank you so much for being part of this journey. We are going to have these weekly sessions. So last week we looked into discipline agile delivery. This week we had the change management strategies for agile leaders. Next session will be on Tuesday, 30th November at same time, and that session will be focusing on agility foundations for leaders. So thank you so much for staying with me. Hi Nimisha. Thanks for watching this video. Thank you again. Have a great day. Take care and speak to you soon. Thanks.